This video covers Part 2's intro on the Final Fantasy VII series, which focuses on lies, broken promises, betrayal, and behaviors, including how all stories are connected. Spoiler warning, do not watch this if you have not played Crisis Core, the original, or have not read the following novels recently. The lying is happening between all characters across all versions as one continuous story, including explaining the Nibelheim Flashback in depth using split-screen gameplay, which will debunk a common false theory that Cloud has Zack's memories. This is debunked by simply playing Crisis Core or the original, which proves that the Nibelheim Flashback is based primarily off of Cloud's own memories, not Zack's. In the original, Cloud admits he lied about almost everything. We know this from Cloud revealing on the High Wind that he was a Shinra trooper all along. He was so embarrassed that he ended up avoiding everyone. We want to point out these are not to put down the characters, but are to show behaviors that are working against them in saving humanity. Note there is triggering background history regarding Cloud Strife's character, with his treatment of Tifa, Zack, and Aerith that is intentionally harmful. We'll explain why some of Cloud's behaviors becomes the catalyst to the planet's demise. We'll also look at how Cloud and Aerith are written as star-crossed lovers and literary foils to Zack and Tifa, including their shared theme of broken promises. Using split-screen comparisons, there are noticeable differences in how Cloud treats both female leads, processing love versus trauma. All of Aerith and Tifa's gameplay and story are mirrored. However, Cloud does in fact have a preference beyond player influence. Another big spoiler hidden in plain sight is Cloud is lying about who he is, such as lying about being a first-class soldier, a famous war hero, and extroverted, despite none of these being true. Cloud later admits he lied about his role in Nibelheim, and that he was in reality a Shinra trooper NPC. The big reveal across the series is that it was almost entirely Zack who had protected Tifa, and later Cloud. And although Cloud threw Sephiroth into the pit and moved Tifa to the corner, it was Zack and Zangan who had done the most work caring for them, ensuring they stayed alive. Zack's role in the third entry might heavily cross paths with Tifa. Zack is the only other character who knows the truth about what really happened in Nibelheim. It's also heavily implied the vast number of Easter eggs between Zack and Tifa across the series have a far deeper meaning to them. There is also a red herring in Rebirth regarding Cloud's childhood. The red herring is the Mount Nibel accident. The true reason for Cloud's social exclusion is him having been bullied by the Four Fiends. This was occurring even before Tifa's mother died. Cloud is repeating the same mistakes he made in his other lives. Sephiroth, who has access to multiple worlds through the lifestream, plays into the group's lying behaviors. Cloud's deepest insecurities about who he is stem from his childhood social exclusion with Tifa, and his belief Aerith is still in love with Zack. He betrays both of them across the series. Last warning, before we deep dive into Cloud's lying behaviors, his betrayals, and broken promises, with that said, let's get started.
To be home after all this time. I have no hometown. I wouldn't know. Home sweet home, right?
What about family?
Tell me, my mother's name is Genova.
In gameplay, Cloud will be hidden somewhere in the background. Sephiroth, Genova, and Cloud himself suppress the truth that he was a Shinra trooper. Regardless of the world, Cloud will always lie he's a famous first-class soldier instead.
Why am I talking about this? Come on, let's go. Come on, let's go.
Across all games and novels, Cloud is the low-ranking security officer shown in live gameplay. The Nibelheim Flashback is based off of Cloud's own experiences.
You'll get in trouble for snooping around.
Cloud is in the corner, excluded from these photos. He's observing Zack's words, gestures, and fighting style as he looks up to him as a mentor.
At your service.
Okay,
But again, Cloud does not have Zack's memories nor Zack's experiences, since Cloud was there too. Rather, Cloud mirrors his idea of what a hero should be, based off of watching real soldiers.
When they talk about the best guide in town, they're talking about me.
The Mount Nibel walk from Crisis Core and the original has been expanded upon. The playful banter between Zack and Tifa is taken directly from their past lives.
Seen those near the village, and they're not nice. What do you think?
I think I got this.
In all versions, Tifa will choose to stay by Zack's side. This is the same as the original 2, where they become close friends. Make a note that Zack will spend the most time with Tifa when they were teenagers. In all versions, they bond far past soldier and the hero narrative. Despite it only being day 1, Zack and Tifa become fast friends. This is something Cloud struggles with, because of his introverted personality.
You better keep me safe.
Regardless of the world they're in, Cloud will lie and exaggerate about what happened inside the reactor.
What is that?
Cloud's exaggerated version of events have entirely different behaviors, story, and order to Zack's version as well. Their experiences are completely different, just like in the original. Meaning Cloud is both lying about being a soldier, but also lying about key details too.
Are they monsters?
In Zack's version, which is the more truthful version of events, Sephiroth never withdrew his sword here, and he is more sad than angry.
That's what monsters are.
You said average member. What about you? Hey, Sephiroth!
We also know Cloud's version has significant lying, since Cloud's exaggerated version also misses huge context like Genesis being present, the apple sequence, and Sephiroth crying too.
Am I the same as these monsters?
Similarly, Genesis talking about Loveless is missing, and Sephiroth is visibly unarmed. Further supporting Cloud is lying about the context as well.
Sephiroth, you were the greatest monster created by the Genova Project.
Could it be
Genesis!
that I
So you are alive!
was
I
created the
suppose I
same
am,
way?
if you can call this living.
Am I the same as these monsters?
Sephiroth,
Ever since I was a child,
The
I
Genova
knew
Project
I
was
knew
the
that I
term
was
used for all
different.
experiments
that I,
relating to the
was
use
special.
of Genova's cells.
but not like this. My mother's cells, not like
Poor
this.
little Sephiroth. You've never actually met your mother. You've only been told her name, no? I don't know what images you've conjured
Am I
up in
even
your head, but
Human.
Genesis! No!
If you mirror all 3 versions with the original, Cloud consistently lies about what happened in Nibelheim. This is why Rebirth and the original are almost the same. However, when we compare the original and Rebirth to Crisis Core, which is Zack's version of events, Zack's version is completely different. What this means is Cloud is not only lying about being a famous first-class soldier, but he's also lying about the entire order, words, and behaviors about what happened too. It's for this reason, Cloud never takes into account Genesis when he lies. Since Cloud has never spoken to Genesis even once, this confirms Cloud is lying about multiple things, outside of Soldier. This is why you can accurately mirror the dialogue of the original and Rebirth. They are almost the same, since Cloud consistently lies about the past in every universe. Even his lies are almost identical to his original self. Moreover, we know Cloud is lying from playing the live gameplay from the original and Crisis Core, which reveals Cloud was there also, but he was outside the reactor as the security officer instead. We will keep emphasizing, Cloud lying and being intentionally deceptive is not solely because of Sephiroth or Genova's influence, but mainly due to his own personal insecurities and weaknesses.
If only I were a soldier.
Make a note, there's a massive time skip in Final Fantasy VII that's never been properly addressed by the developers. They start on day 1 of the Nibelheim Flashback, where Zack and Cloud visit the village. Then a lot of filler gameplay happens on day 1. They go exploring the mountain and reactor, then head back. In the middle portion, part of it is omitted from cutscenes. This is instead hidden as story exploration. Both the original and Crisis Core display Zack and Tifa are building a friendship off-screen. Make a note, the final game in the remake trilogy will cover the time Zack and Tifa were spending together during the middle of the Nibelheim Flashback. This will tie into Zack and Tifa's relationship, including how they also subvert trauma, promises, and lies by being honest. Then suddenly, it randomly skips to the final day, where Sephiroth leaves Shinra Manor's library. He later massacres the entire village. The middle portion of the Nibelheim Flashback is being saved for the final game. Since none of the main stories cover what happened in the middle fully, it has yet to show Zack and Tifa's perspective in depth.
I'll ask the townspeople about Sephiroth.
Thank you, Tifa.
The flashback then jumps to the final day, back to Cloud, who was in reality a Shinra trooper at the time. Cloud was not with Zack and Tifa, since he tried to save his mother, but he ultimately failed. This is not his fault, though he later blames himself. But his failure to save his mother is one of the many reasons Cloud later retaliates with violence and lies across the series. Both Aerith and Tifa have a romantic spot tied to Cloud. For Tifa, this spot is the Nibelheim water tower. The water tower burning is symbolic of the broken promise of Cloud failing to become a true hero, since the group's actions result in thousands of deaths. The next time Cloud visits the water tower, it's been replaced. Cloud introduces Aerith to his spot, as she's completely unattached to his childhood trauma, and for Aerith everything is new. However, when we go back to Nibelheim more than 5 years ago, the village itself is only tied to pain and suffering, of his failures to become a soldier, of being unable to save his mother, the Four Fiends, the broken promise, Zack dying, and Tifa getting injured.
Sephiroth. Mom.
When Cloud fails to save his mother and the villagers, he ends up holding self-hatred over his personal failures. Instead of owning up, he failed to become a true hero. Given Cloud has taken far more lives, literally in the thousands, he ends up reinforcing these failures by taking more and more lives.
If only I were a soldier.
Granted, we might blame this moment entirely on Sephiroth and Jenova, but we want to point out, Cloud is the master of his own world. We know Cloud has at least partial control, because he specifically targets a trooper that's crawling on the floor, the same way he crawled on the floor after his mother in the past. Cloud choosing to torture his former co-workers, that are the same rank as him, is not a coincidence. It has more to deal with his own personal shame, above everything else. In addition, Cloud also fails to save any villagers since he gets injured. Yet by the time Zack arrives, he's been successful in saving a few townsfolk. This is the same for Tifa, who also saves a few people in Traces of Two Pasts. What's more is, Cloud also lies that Sephiroth had paid attention to him here, yet in Zack's version of events, Sephiroth mostly ignores Cloud instead.
Yes, I'm coming for you.
Did Sephiroth do this to you?
In both versions, Zack reaches out to Tifa or tries to hold her hand. In the true events, although Cloud tried to help, it was Zack who did the most work saving them.
Hate you. Shinra. Soldier. And you. I hate you all!
Why did you hurt Tifa? Answer me, Sephiroth!
Mother, they're here again. Together we will reclaim our world. And I know exactly how we can do that. The Promised Land.
Sephiroth!
Mother, they have come again. The ones who robbed you of the planet. Your planet. But there's no need to be sad, Mother. Because I'm here for you. Now and forever. Mother, let's take back the planet together. I had an epiphany. Let's go to the Promised Land.
You killed my
Mother.
mom.
Sephiroth!
You killed Tifa. My village.
Why did you kill the
My home.
townspeople? Why did you hurt Tifa? Answer me, Sephiroth!
By right.
Sephiroth! I trusted you!
This planet too. For I have been chosen.
Ah!
No. Not you. Whoever the hell you are.
That's the last thing I remember. The rest is a blank.
The hell it is? What happened?
Sephiroth!
The Whispers are circling Cloud's wound, ensuring he does not die. The Whispers also prevent Barrett's death too, the same exact way in Remake. Note that the Whispers have reversed both Cloud's and Barrett's deaths, despite Sephiroth technically killing them.
Don't test me. No. Impossible.
Once Sephiroth's body is at the northern crater, he'll use the Genova cells inside Cloud's left arm to manipulate him to get the black materia. This leads to both Aerith's death and Meteor killing thousands. The Genova cells are not entirely responsible for Cloud's behaviors, since Cloud later reveals on the High Wind that he was the master of his own illusions. What the Genova cells do is keep a tether between him and Sephiroth. Moreover, while the Genova cells can provide superhuman strength, it does not turn Cloud Strife into Zack Fair. They are still their own individual characters, although this is a common myth across the fandom. Both Cloud and Zack have similar superhuman augmentations. Only the strongest minds are able to withstand the experiments. All soldiers, and even some former Shinra employees have these. In Traces of Two Pasts, On the Way to a Smile, the original, and Rebirth, there are two groups of former Shinra employees, those that can handle the augmentations, and those that can't. An example of soldiers that could withstand these augmentations include Zack, Luxir, Kunsel, and all soldiers on the soldier floor. They all have these augmentations, a combination of Sephiroth or Genova's cells, and Mako. Yet because they are of a stronger mind, they aren't influenced by Sephiroth's bidding. Some former Shinra employees that could not handle the augmentations would be Cloud, who was a security officer, Broden, an ex-soldier from Calm, Lalisa, a geologist from Traces of Two Pasts. They experience Sephiroth or Genova inside their own minds. This group tends to engage in negative behaviors more than the other group.
Broden? Broden! Hey! Snap out of it! Wait, the guy from Calm?
Negative emotions or behaviors, like holding jealousy, hatred, grudges, or violence, make it easier for Sephiroth to manipulate one group, yet more difficult to manipulate the other instead. This is why, although Cloud and Zack have similar augmentations, Cloud is more easily manipulated due to his lying behaviors, his trauma over being bullied by the Four Fiends in his childhood, the broken promise, which is shattered through Cloud's own harmful behaviors, not because he failed to join Soldier, or his jealousy over Zack being Aerith's first love. Zack is the complete opposite. He has severe trauma too from Crisis Core, having experienced nearly a decade of torture and war. Yet he focuses on taking care of Marlene as his new dream. Zack has almost no darkness in his heart. Thus, both Cloud, who was a security officer, and Zack, who was a first-class soldier, are detained for 4 years. Zack then rescues Cloud by carrying him all the way back to Midgar for weeks, potentially even for months, during their escape from Nibelheim.
Yeah. That's the Shinra I know.
Cloud.
What the?
Sephiroth.
Yes, I'm coming for you.
We know the Nibelheim Flashback is based off of Cloud's own experiences, as he's physically present in nearly all key moments somewhere in the background. Moreover, if we look closely, Cloud's head is sometimes superimposed onto Zack's body through their different heights, further supporting that Cloud has always remembered Zack. This plot twist is the same as the original game too. The big identity reveal is that Cloud was creeping around as an NPC. In truth, Cloud's experiences as a trooper do not align with the fake soldier version he's intentionally impersonating. In his own words, Cloud knew he was never a soldier. He knew he was a low-rank Shinra trooper, but was too embarrassed to admit it. I made up the story about what happened. I heard this story from my friend Zack, and I created an illusion of myself, made up of what I had seen in my life. Cloud admits he lied about most of his past. The Sephiroth and Jenova experiments are not true clones, but are employees that have augmentations. Cloud will later explain that the experiments are not fully responsible for his violent or deceptive behaviors, since Cloud himself reveals on the High Wind that he has been lying since the very beginning. Moreover, Cloud states his lying had nothing to do with the Jenova reunion. Instead, his behaviors are his own weaknesses, confirming he's at least partially responsible for his own choices, stating, "Weak people like me get lost in the whole thing." Sadly, the reveal on the High Wind also shows Cloud lied to himself. Although Sephiroth and Jenova try to manipulate him, it's Cloud's own weaknesses that are the root cause of many of his problems. Cloud, being the master of his own illusionary world, also confirms he is partly responsible for his own actions. This is why he says he lived his life pretending to be something he's not, a true hero. The Japanese version is a lot more clear in explaining Cloud intentionally lied. He specifically says, "Those stories from 5 years ago being in Soldier, they're all fantasies I made up in my head. After all the bragging I did at home, I never made it to Soldier." The Japanese version makes it even more apparent that Cloud is intentionally dishonest, having stolen from Zack's story. "So I took the stories my best friend Zack told me, and mixed them up with things I'd really seen." There are very obvious mistranslations, since in Japanese, Cloud admits to bragging about faking being a soldier, by him taking Zack's stories and faking them like they were his own. Yet in English, Cloud only admits that he heard about Zack's stories being in Soldier, not that he took or stole them like in Japanese. The English version heavily minimizes the degree to which Cloud is lying. From this point onwards, we'll be using the canon Japanese version to explain why Cloud is lying about things far beyond broken promises, soldier, or his childhood. We also want to point out the raw Japanese versions of Final Fantasy VII Original, the remake trilogy, the Ultimanias and film, are far more explicit in explaining Cloud is in fact lying. Unfortunately, the English versions are heavily mistranslated, even butchered, so we'll be using the Japanese version at certain points to explain spoilers from the series. Ironically, there is a huge spoiler hidden in plain sight, further confirming Cloud Strife is lying about his fake career as soldier and this glorious only savior simply by looking at his clothes. What many gamers won't know, unless they have played the original or Crisis Core, is that Zack undressed Cloud from his Shinra trooper uniform into a fake soldier uniform, since they were both disheveled.
Right. First, let's change.
Those Mako-soaked clothes will definitely not help you get back on your feet. I found something good back there. This may smell bad, but desperate times.
Moreover, when we look closely at Cloud's fake soldier uniform, it has not yet been altered. It always comes with 2 black shoulder pads and plain gloves. Yet oddly, by the time he first arrives in Midgar, Cloud's fake soldier uniform has been heavily changed, meaning at some point, Cloud altered the uniform himself. This means some time has passed between Zack dying and Cloud reaching Midgar. Cloud had enough time to shave off the shoulder pad, paint it, install bolts, and a metal glove. All of these changes indicate Cloud altered the soldier uniform intentionally, of his own free will. None of these come with the default soldier uniform. The original Cloud also intentionally modifies his fake uniform. This is all done to solidify the lie that he's a first-class soldier, a famous war hero, or this glorious only savior. We get final confirmation that Cloud remembers what really happened in Nibelheim. All versions display Cloud is intentionally lying about the past, because he is insecure about soldier, among other major lies. All versions display Cloud's first-person or third-person perspective, indicating he remembers Zack and escaping from Nibelheim. This also debunks the theory that Cloud has Zack's personality, since he already knows who he is. It's the live gameplay of Crisis Core and not cutscenes alone that proves the Nibelheim Flashback is based off of Cloud's own experiences. This is intentionally not shown in cutscenes. We can see that Cloud was physically present, or could visibly see, and walk through all rooms during the flashback. We also get more information on the underground library as well. Note that it was not Cloud that went to the library with Sephiroth, but Zack instead. Yet Cloud knows about the underground library, because he was there too. Cloud is visibly shown as the Shinra trooper that is guarding the underground library's door. Ironically, Cloud was eavesdropping on Sephiroth, which is why he also knows that Sephiroth lost his sanity, because he saw this with his own eyes. And although this is occurring in a different time across the livestream, the story is one continuous loop. The other games solve plot holes missing from Rebirth, because there's some form of reincarnation happening. All we know for certain is Cloud is lying a significant amount. Moreover, Cloud reveals closer to the ending, he saw everything as a security officer, lurking in the background. The true events align almost perfectly side by side, unlike his falsified version, where he erases Zack from the narrative. Although Cloud does try to help Zack save Tifa, he steals credit for things he did not do. He also lies about Zack not being there for her, when he was. In all main versions, it was Zack that had truly done the most work saving them. The reason Cloud is lying about being a first-class soldier, a famous war hero, or this glorious only savior, is due to being deeply jealous of Zack Fair.
If only I were soldier. Zack?
Soldier is like a den of monsters. Don't go inside.
But even outside of broken promises, Zack's character is consistently truthful and sincere, whereas Cloud continues to lie, years later in the novels and film. What's more is, Rebirth did not show the full extent just how much Zack did in rescuing Cloud and Tifa. Zack working with Zangan is the reason Tifa made it safely to Midgar. When we say the true MVP is Zack Fair, the story speaks for itself. Zack rescues Cloud and his friends, helping them for years, holding onto no promises, nor expectations. Not only does Zack extensively save Cloud, by carrying him as dead weight to Midgar, he feeds him, and bathes him too, taking on a caregiver role in every universe. A hero doesn't need to save damsels in distress to be a hero. A hero can be as simple as caring for family when they're sick. Zack isn't thinking about broken promises, having more glory and power, or impressing women. Zack behaves with integrity, because it's the right thing to do. However, when we look at Cloud's Strife, there's an underlying violence inside of him that Sephiroth knows is there deep down. Cloud always defaults to lying, manipulation, and hatred when he's faced with social rejection. This underlying violence has always been there since Cloud was a child. Similarly, traces of two pasts, Final Fantasy VII Original and the Ultimanias, display Cloud had violent tendencies, or would lie, long before Tifa fell off Mount Nibel. These harmful behaviors continue well into the epilogue.
Emilio, Lester, Tyler, and Tifa. They'd been the Four Fiends ever since they learned to walk. The way Cloud acted got him into a lot of fights, until eventually, the other boys were always referring to him as the weirdo, or that menace to society. The obvious suspect was the accident on Mount Nibel, shortly after the death of Tifa's mother. But even if the events of that day really had played out as everyone claimed, Tifa still felt a nagging sense that there was more to it. Cloud had been pulling away from her long before that fateful day.
So the origin of Cloud's violent tendencies, or his propensity to lie, is not because of Sephiroth or Genova's influence, but stemmed from being bullied through social exclusion during his early childhood, even before Tifa's mother died. This is the true origin of Cloud's harmful behaviors as an adult, not the Mount Nibel accident, Sephiroth, or Genova. Final Fantasy VII Original, Remake, Rebirth, and Traces of Two Pasts all confirm that Cloud's social exclusion in childhood is the true origin of his violent behaviors, his constant lying, jealousy, and resentment as an adult. However, we want to point out notable retcons in Rebirth, that the developers may pivot less to the Four Fiends and more towards Tifa's father Brian as a scapegoat for the childhood bullying through social exclusion instead. We want to challenge the developers to not retcon Cloud's social exclusion in the final game, since the main offenders in the original were the actual children of Nibelheim. It was not the adults. This has been partially retconned in Rebirth. Another significant retcon in Rebirth is Cloud is being presented as more lonely and sad in his childhood, rather than the hatred he had prior. All of this is done to make Cloud appear more sympathetic for his harmful behaviors in adulthood. Not only is this bad writing, by focusing entirely on Cloud's loneliness and sadness, it reinforces this idea of woe is me, or nice guy behavior, which makes Cloud less likable. This retcon takes away from the very relatable experience many people have, with being bullied by the popular kids, and hating them, which was the spoiler of the original. In the original game, it was not truly loneliness, but a much deeper experience of resentment hatred, and a personal grudge Cloud held against Tifa and her friends, who are the most popular children in the village, feeling they had personally wronged him. As a full Asian person, whose entire family are from all over Asia, the developers, who are Japanese, also placed a lot of emphasis on why Cloud reacts to social exclusion with violence and lying too. We want to refer you to Asian Boss's video, What the Japanese Think of Bullying, as in Japan and most of Asia, social exclusion by one's peers is the most common form of bullying, rather than in the West. This isn't like Western bullying, where there's usually physical aggression. Social exclusion alone is far more commonplace in Asian cultures or people of color, given we are more collectivistic. The nail that stands up must be hammered down. This is the true origin of Cloud's lying behaviors and violent tendencies. The original Cloud held a 20-year-old grudge against Tifa and her friends for excluding him, even before the Mount Nibel accident or Tifa's mother's death. This is why in the original, it heavily focuses far more on Cloud's social exclusion than it does on the Mount Nibel accident. However, a lot of channels will intentionally cut this out, since Cloud and Tifa are revealed to be strangers. The original, Rebirth, and Traces of Two Pasts all describe how it's Cloud's social exclusion that directly contributes to him becoming violent, lying, or emotionally unstable as an adult. It's the constant social exclusion Cloud faces across the series that contributes to his later evil behaviors in adulthood. Whether it's him being socially ignored by the Four Fiends in his early childhood, with him blaming Tifa and her friends as being stupid, to Cloud being socially excluded by Avalanche too, since his rude behaviors fully justify them firing him, to the insidious anger Cloud holds over Zack and Aerith's relationship, where he has extreme jealousy, almost hatred over Zack being Aerith's first love. In the grand scheme of things, the Mount Nibel accident, the village massacre, and Tifa and Zack getting injured are not his fault. What is his fault is his decision to lie and blame others for his mistakes, in the face of his own trauma and failures, rather than being honest.
You know I can't tell you that. Are you finished?
However, because Cloud has not addressed his lies about being a fake soldier, including lying to Tifa about Zack not being there for her when he was, among other major lies regarding who he truly is, it's incredibly likely Cloud Strife will make the same mistakes he made before, where Cloud's lying behaviors will make it easier for Sephiroth to manipulate him. We'll be also covering more retcons from Rebirth regarding lies and broken promises. Before, the original Cloud would consistently refuse to help, out of his own embarrassment. This is extremely out of character, that Cloud would try helping, given Cloud's more introverted, defensive, and avoidant personality. He repeatedly mentions he was so ashamed of who he was, he did not want to see anybody, which includes both Zack Fair and Tifa Lockhart. Cloud choosing not to see anybody is consistent in the original series. He ends up locking himself away almost the entire time he was in Nibelheim. We can visually see him hiding at the hotel as an NPC trooper in both the original and Crisis Core.
I'll rest a little more.
There are also private messages Cloud sends to Zack, mentioning he's even avoiding his own mother. Thus, the retcons of Cloud helping, risking his identity being revealed to the villagers, are not consistent with the original series. They are also not in character with Cloud's defensive, short-tempered, and introverted personality. The retcons of Cloud helping do not cover the severity of just how insecure Cloud truly is. Whether it's the original Cloud telling the original Tifa her problems have nothing to do with him, then leaving. To Crisis Core Cloud, where he has such low frustration tolerance, he immediately gives up when things are not going his way.
I'm sorry I'm of no help. I'll be resting here. I'm sorry I'm of no help.
To Cloud in Rebirth, displaying defensiveness, even over small things. He lies so often that it's extremely normalized for him.
She said Sephiroth kicked the ever-living crap out of you back in the Temple of the Ancients.
You heard wrong. Didn't go down like that.
Okay. Then how exactly did he get the materia from you?
Thus, it's not entirely on Sephiroth, Genova, nor the experiments as to why Cloud is behaving so negatively, given most of his own behaviors are born from deep-seated self-hatred. If Cloud lying about Soldier, Zack, Nibelheim, or his childhood is already triggering, brace yourselves, because it gets worse. Cloud is also lying about thousands of things. Outside of Soldier and broken promises, he is also intentionally lying about his behaviors, and even parts of his personality. This is taken directly from Cloud's dialogue from the Ultimanias, which explains why Cloud intentionally lies about his personality as well. The main games and Ultimanias from the original series explain that it's Cloud's own insecurities that are the primary reason he turns to lies and violence, not the experiments alone. Cloud's inner hatred stemmed from social exclusion in childhood. It's revealed in both the original and traces of two pasts. Cloud was already fighting with his peers, even while Tifa's mother was alive. Trigger warning for the following. Lastly, we'll also explain why Cloud is only in love with one female lead, by exploring some of Aerith and Tifa's gameplay and dialogue through Cloud's behaviors using split-screen comparisons, including why Cloud has a primary romantic preference, regardless of player influence. Note that Cloud is intentionally lying, mistreating, and betraying both Aerith and Tifa across the whole series. Interestingly, there's significantly more lying with Tifa. We'll explain why this is, through major spoilers. This will be deeply triggering, and Cloud's reasoning from the Ultimanias in Japanese are not only problematic for Aerith and Tifa in different ways, but for Tifa this is especially diabolical. That said, let's get to it.